In today's video, it's my 2024 year in review. I'll talk about why I decided to start exercising and losing weight. We'll take a look at the 6 different trips I took this year, including 2 Caribbean cruises and 2 cruises here in the USA with American Cruise Lines. I'll talk a little bit about what I accomplished in my yard and garden this year, and my annual report on the slow death of my YouTube channel. I'm still getting millions of views, but nothing like what it was 5 years ago. Well, hello. Thank you for watching. Every year at the end of the year, I like to do a video looking back at what I was up to during that year. And 2024 was a very good year for me. But I also had a scary health situation this year, which led me to make some big changes in my life. On March 28th, I had a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack, and it's basically a brief stroke that occurs when blood flow to the brain is temporarily blocked by a clot. TIAs are similar to regular strokes, but not as severe. They don't last as long. Most importantly, they don't cause any permanent brain damage. So I got lucky. I didn't have a full stroke, just a TIA. But it really made me realize that I needed to make some changes, because if I just kept doing what I've been doing up until then, it was just going to be a matter of time before I had a severe full stroke. And I've known 2 different people that have had full strokes, and I don't want to have to go through what they had to go through. I want to go on a lot more cruises and do a lot more gardening and live another 20 years or more if I can. So after I had that TIA, it was an easy decision to make some dietary changes and to buy a treadmill and start doing some serious exercising. I'm on the treadmill every morning now for a full hour. Kellen has been exercising for many years now, too, so now we do our morning workout side by side. I even use the treadmill when I'm on vacation. Here I am in the ship's fitness center during my most recent cruise. In fact, there were so many sweet treats on that cruise, like the fresh cookies and the ice cream, that during my most recent cruise, not only did I do an hour on the treadmill before breakfast every morning, but also sometimes I skipped dinner and did 45 more minutes on the treadmill that evening. My goal was to be able to eat lots of cookies and ice cream on that cruise and never gain any weight, and I did it. So, as I hope you can see, the diet and exercise is working for me. I'm down almost 50 pounds from where I was at the beginning of the year. My top weight was about 230 pounds, and now I'm around 180. This is a cringe-worthy video of myself from January. Even though it doesn't show my full body, I think you can see that that was fat Jim Zim, and hopefully you can see the difference between that and Slim Jim Zim today. So that video clip of me eating nachos was shot during a trip I took to Las Vegas in January. And by the way, I didn't eat that whole plate of nachos by myself. My friend Jeff and I shared them. But the Vegas trip was my first of 6 trips away from home this year. I had a great stay at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas, and I went to see a show at the Sphere. I really enjoyed my time in Vegas. I would love to go back there again sometime in the next year or 2. I also went on a couple of great Caribbean cruises in the first half of the year. The first one in February was Royal Caribbean's new ship, Icon of the Seas. It wasn't really the right ship for me, though. It's a great ship for families traveling with children, but I doubt I will ever sail on Icon of the Seas again, or any of her sister ships, because it was just too crowded and too noisy. And there just wasn't a quiet pool area that I could sit in and relax in without loud music and a party atmosphere. In fact, Icon of the Seas was pretty much all about loud music and a party atmosphere. So that didn't turn out to be my kind of cruise. I did love their private island, Coco Cay, but the prices were just outrageous. It really turned me off to Royal Caribbean. But in May, I went on a cruise ship I really love. I was in the Haven on Norwegian Breakaway, and that was perfect for me, with lots of places I could go to enjoy quiet, relaxing time in a pool or in a hot tub or on the sun deck. Traveling along with my wife and I were my sister and my brother-in-law, and they don't cruise very often, so I wanted to show them what I consider to be a great cruise. And being in the Caribbean on Norwegian Breakaway in the Haven was definitely that. In June, I flew to New York City and spent some time exploring Central Park, as well as all the touristy parts of Manhattan, before getting on a cruise ship from American Cruise Lines for a really great cruise that explored a bunch of neat coastal towns between Long Island and Boston. For example, we visited Sag Harbor in the Hamptons, and also beautiful Newport, Rhode Island, plus quite a few other beautiful places there in the northeast part of the USA. Places I had never been to before and really ended up enjoying a lot. And just recently, I did another cruise with American Cruise Lines through Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. In fact, it was so recently that I haven't even put out any videos about that one yet. So these beautiful scenes you're seeing here are just a preview of what you're going to see much more in depth in some videos coming out in January here on my YouTube channel. And speaking of cruising, if you have any interest in booking a cruise, whether that would be on a small, intimate cruise ship from American Cruise Lines or on some big mega cruise ship from Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, or any line, I want you to feel free to use the services of my travel agent, Caitlin Gallagher. A good travel agent is worth her weight in gold. I've found one. I want to tell the world about her. And her services and expertise won't cost you anything at all. Her fees are paid for by the cruise lines. And her prices are never higher than what you'd pay by booking through the cruise line's website. And sometimes she has deals that are lower than what the cruise lines offer. She got me a great deal on that Royal Caribbean cruise that I took in January. So when you're ready to book your next cruise, visit Caitlin's website or send her an email or give her a call to get the ball rolling. I did have one other trip this year. It was a short one down to Los Angeles. I got to see a fantastic concert at the Hollywood Bowl. It was famous music producer David Foster, his wife Catherine McPhee, and a whole bunch of the musical acts David Foster has worked with over the years, like Michael Bublé, Josh Groban, and many others. They put on a very memorable show there at the Hollywood Bowl. Now, for most of the year, I was not traveling. I was right here at our home in Southeast Washington. As you may know, we used to live in California. In 2020, I retired from my 28-year career working at a nuclear power plant there in California. And we moved up here to Washington, where we had this home, custom made just for us. I love this house, and I love being here, but for me, the best part is not the inside of the house, it's the half-acre property that the house sits on. During the spring, summer, and fall, I spend hours and hours every day outside, puttering around in the yard, working in my vegetable garden, or growing baby maple trees that I sell fairly inexpensively to folks here in the area. I just love growing things. And besides lots and lots of baby maples, we got lots of delicious apples off of our Washington apple trees this year. I also grew tomatoes, cantaloupe, blackberries, and peaches. It was the most successful year I've had in the garden since we moved into this house in September of 2020. Now a little update on the status of my YouTube channel. At the beginning of the video, I joked about the slow death of my channel. It's still alive, and I still make good money from the advertising revenue, but nothing like the glory days of 2016 through 2021, when my channel was at its peak. This year, 2024, my channel had over 6 million views, so it's definitely not dead yet, but when we look at the trend, going back about 10 years, you can see it's dying. In 2015, my channel had 34.4 million views. In 2016, it went up to over 49 million views. 2017, up even more, over 52 million views. It peaked in 2018 at 59 million views. In 2019, that dropped to 40 million views. 2020 had almost 43 million views. 2021, a little over 31 million views. There was a big drop in 2022, down to just under 13 million views. 2023 was 11 million views, and as I mentioned earlier, here in 2024, it was down again to just over 6 million views this year. So it doesn't take a genius to see the trend. And the thing is, the only videos that are actually making decent money, significant amounts of ad revenue that YouTube shares with me, those are the older videos. YouTube's algorithm just isn't recommending my new videos to large numbers of people anymore. Of all the new videos I released in 2024, not one of them got more than 30,000 views. And to put that in perspective, there have been 30 different videos of mine that have gotten at least 1 million views over the years. In fact, 6 got over 10 million. But this year, this was the closest thing I had to a hit. These are the stats on a model train video I released in January. It didn't even get 30,000 views. And that was my biggest hit of the year. Well, there was $136 in ad revenue that came my way from that one, and I'll take it, but that's a far cry from the kind of money I was making 6 or 7 years ago from YouTube for making model train videos. So years ago, I was creating 60 or more new videos every year, but I've cut that way back now. 25 new videos in 2024, so about an average of 2 weeks between each video. Now, as far as what you have to look forward to on my channel in 2025, I just got back from a really enjoyable cruise with American Cruise Lines. There will be several videos about that coming up over the next month or so. And a few weeks from now, we'll be cruising on our favorite cruise ship, Carnival Panorama. This will be our 3rd cruise on Carnival Panorama. Plus, we've cruised on 2 of her nearly identical sister ships, so it's basically our 5th cruise on this same type of ship. That ought to tell you something. So you can look forward to seeing a video or 2 or 3 about Carnival Panorama that will explain what I like so much about this particular type of ship. In February, we'll be on the latest Princess ship, Sun Princess. And that ship has some very interesting special features, which I look forward to explaining in some future videos. And this summer, I'll be doing an Alaska cruise with American Cruise Lines. I've cruised to Alaska once before, back in 2014. These days, my camera gear is so much better than what I had back then, and I've got the drone now, so I can't wait to get up to Alaska again to make some new videos. So you can definitely expect to see some new travel videos from me in 2025, and maybe a few videos from my yard and garden, maybe even a Carly video, but probably not many model train videos this year. I've got a spinal issue that I've been dealing with, and it's been painful for me to bend down and set up tracks on the ground. So that's why you haven't seen a whole lot of model train videos from me, and that's also why you probably are only going to see maybe 1 or 2 new ones from me in 2025. Well, I want to sincerely thank you for watching my videos. Being a YouTuber has been an important part of my life for the last 10 years or so. I've really enjoyed it, and it seems like people have enjoyed watching. Now, the glory days are in the rearview mirror, but I'll still be putting out new videos in 2025. You can count on that.